You gotta hand it to June. It can't be easy to house the Antichrist release date. Mario Strikers Battle League was the long-awaited return of the series after 15 years. Finally, I can move on to another dormant franchise to beg for the return of I inevitably won't like.
It's a crippling fetish.
I've never been the biggest Mario Strikers nut on the planet. I respect the hell out of these games, but I ain't great at them, and strangely enough, it's hard to get super invested into something I'm completely and utter dog shit at. I may have a crippling fetish, but I know it's not masochism. However, that doesn't mean I never get invested into Strikers. I love the frantic action, the extreme and edgy style. It's super fun. I just don't think I'm good at soccer games. I'm just running around with the ball and have terrible judgment on when to pass and shoot. Because when I compare my gameplay to others, yeah, I'm at fault here. But man, it was still great to see the series return on Nintendo Switch. Though as early as the announcement trailer, something felt off. Things were a bit more sanitized. There wasn't a huge amount of new ideas or additions, and the character roster shown off was woefully lacking. But hey, that was just for the announcement.
Scott, I'm you from 10 seconds in the future. That wasn't the announcement trailer. That was the full game.
Oh man, I better warn past Scott.
Battle League has well-designed gameplay at its core. There's quite a bit of strategy to employ on the field here, and it can go pretty deep, which I applaud them for. But I feel they could have done this while keeping things more accessible. Every time I boot this up, I need to go through the tutorial again because I'm not gonna remember all of this. The controls feel overcomplicated, and while everything's manageable and not rocket science, it does make this title a lot harder to jump back into after a while, pop in at a moment's notice, or pick up as a newcomer. And it's not like things are that much deeper now. It's not like they had this incredible new idea for the series like Mario Tennis Aces. Sure, that complicated things, but it felt warranted. This feels more balanced, strategic, and competitive compared to the previous games, but nothing was really added to get us here. If anything, they took things away. A huge lack of items to use on the field, which wasn't the case on GameCube and Wii. Stadiums with absolutely no gimmicks, no reason to pick one over the other, barely any characters, which in a 4v4 soccer game, you're gonna be seeing the same ones over and over again. No actual modes, unlockables, the personality of the series has been sanitized to oblivion. The moment-to-moment gameplay is enjoyable, but it gets stale incredibly quickly due to there being no variety here. This is completely what you see is what you get. So many things about this game just don't add up. Like a big feature is how you combine two different stadiums together, but it's like there's barely anything aesthetically different between them, and definitely nothing gameplay-wise, so what's the point? All of these fields are the same, with a different symbol in the middle of them. Like, this is supposed to be the Luigi's Mansion Stadium? Yeah, can't you tell by the grass? All the special themed elements aren't viewable during normal gameplay, and can only be seen during the cutscenes. Why? If you actually thought this out, you would use a camera angle that would show off the unique details of each stadium. But no, now every game looks the exact same. There's this whole gear element where you purchase armor to add to your character, which changes their stats. You know what else gives you different stats? Playing as a different character! If each of these guys had wildly different movesets, the gear would make a lot more sense. It would be like creating a custom character in Smash Brothers. Just because he had a lot of power to Mario doesn't make him the same as Bowser. It's just a more powerful Mario now. That's not the case here. The only differences between these characters are their stats, so using gear to change those stats just makes both elements feel pointless. There's really no modes here. The only single player option is just these tournaments, play against CPUs. That's all it is. Battle League is heavily focused on online multiplayer, and it can't even do that right! No 4v4 online. You can only do 1v1 or 2v2. In a game designed around 4v4 that stripped away anything and everything else to do because online is the sole focus. Look at this! I call this one f***ing up. This game feels like it's constantly contradicting itself. It has no direction, nothing to say, nothing to add onto the series. The amount of content here is comparable to that of a free demo. The animation is incredible, but you see the same clips repeated over and over again, so it loses all impact. The gameplay works well, but I don't find it better than what came prior, which also had more content in every single way. Mario Strikers Battle League isn't bad, It's unacceptable. This is yet another in the never-ending line of Nintendo multiplayer-focused games that launch in an incredibly lacking state that receives free updates adding more content down the line. Battle League received 2 new characters, a stage, and additional gear every few months until December 2022. But it's like, these additions didn't help the game whatsoever. New stages, I mean, look at this. Does this make you want to play the game again?
Well, to feel better about myself, yeah.
The gear and characters make each other pointless. It's cool to see Pauline, but gee, alongside Rosalina, were the only new additions to the series. If the free updates were nothing but new characters, that would at least be more exciting, but no, Shy Guy! Man, this game is just surprising me more and more.
Why are you doing this?
I understand why many really got behind Battle League, finding it to be an addictive and strategic multiplayer game. But I'm just not in that camp. I find the gameplay respectable, but nothing else really draws me to it. I need a reason to keep playing other than to keep playing. And this just doesn't offer that. For $60, I found this insulting, if anything. Man, the Mario sports games on Switch just keep going downhill. And that's even more evident by the next one.